Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to put tiles into Project Zomboid. So the first thing you're going to need is base game tile images and TileZed/WorldEd. So TileZed and WorldEd are just programs that allows you to take your PNG and give it the properties needed to get into the game. This tile set here is just all of the base game tiles. So you can come here and see what the base game uses. This is really helpful to have to use as reference. So advertising, you can see all of the advertising images from the game here. So I'm going to link this website down below, but basically you will open it up for whatever OS you have. I have Windows, so obviously I'm going to use that. In older tutorials, you'll find them using what's called Project Zomboid modding tools over here, but that's just a package version of TileZed and WorldEd. So, now that you have that, you have your tiles folder, which is just those base game tiles. You're going to need an image. So, you could use any program. I use Krita personally, and you're going to create a PNG. Now, a super awesome user, Throttle Kitty, has created baseline tile sheets, and I'm going to outline them below, or put a link below. But basically, these tile sheets that Throttle Kitty has made will give you guidelines on where to put stuff. So here, this is from my farm and garden mod. I use these baselines to get an idea of placement and scale. So once you have a PNG, obviously going to want to hide the background, and you're going to want to save it like this. So you take that PNG file and you are going to make your own folder. I do it on my desktop just because it's easy to find, and call it a pack maker. So you have to take that PNG and put it into a pack. So here is a previous pack I made. Here's from my latest update on Sprout Garden. And don't mind these other two files here. This is just in process. So, PNG good. Open up your TileZed folder. There's going to be a bunch of stuff in here that you don't really care about. You want to go to the TileZed application. Oh, there's one more thing that you'll need to do. In your base game tiles, just so it's easier for you to find it, you're going to take a copy of your PNG sheet and put it in the two tabs. This is just for reference in the program you're going to use. So here you can see the farming add-01 has been added to this. Alright, open up TileZed. So TileZed closed for me because I have these editing tools, but for you it should open to look like just like this. Alright. I don't use TileZed for a lot of things. I use it basically to pack sheets, which is just take your PNG and put it in a .pack, which is what the game reads, and to create tile definitions. You can build whole maps with WorldEd and TileZed, but I am not a map maker, so I don't do that. First thing you'll need to do is open up tile sets. And you're going to direct this to your folder that is your tiles. You're going to select that folder. And then you'll click this little add button. And you should see some text here and or your new PNG file that you added. I haven't added anything new, so there's nothing new for me to add. But you would do that, check all, okay. And that opens it up here so that we can add, here's my farming ad from before. This is what's going to allow us to set tile properties, which is how tiles are interacted in the world later. Select OK on that. Then you need to pack your file. So you're going to create pack file. Up here you're going to save pack file as, and I put it all in the same folder just because it's easier for me to find it. You're going to select your pack maker, and then you name it whatever you want. Farming. I'm gonna save that. And then you don't have to worry about scale to 1x. This is for older versions of the game. 10 by 20, 1024 by 1024 is fine. What you'll want to do is come down to this, and this is where you're going to want to select your pack maker. Okay, this is saying, hey, I want to pull from this folder, and it will open up here. This one you only really have to do if it's a solid floor into a separate pack folder. I don't really mess with that, and I don't really mess with save settings either. Press OK. Then you can open up your pack maker and see that it made a pack file, farming.pack. We're just going to leave that there for now, and we're going to go ahead and make our other file that we need. So come back up to Tools, Tile Properties. So this is how we're going to set how the tiles are interacted with in the world. A little forewarning, there is a lot of tile properties. Best thing I suggest is look at what the tile properties are of a base game item you're interested in replicating, for example, a fridge, and seeing what properties that has, and you could just click copy paste those properties over. But for your properties, we're going to click new, and then you can go to whatever file. This is desktop. I'm going to go back to my pack folder just because I like to keep it all together while I'm still working on it. And tile definitions auto fills here, so I could say farming tile definitions, and it's as a .tiles. Save. And then you're going to add your tile sheets, basically your PNG. So here's my farming, and whatever tiles you have in here, you can have several tile sheets of tiles in your pack. And this is where the fun begins. So each one of these grids counts as a slot. So when it counts from 0 to 7, and you can see it here, 1000 to 1007, 8 there. When I link Throttle Kitty stuff, it actually has options for numbering. That's only really useful if you want to call on a specific tile that you're using. For example, in my farming mod, I needed to call upon this tile, so I need to know that it's farming-add-01, and this one's tile 6 or tile 5. But that's only really useful if you're doing coding. If you're just trying to get the tiles in the game to use them as like furniture or graffiti or what have you as artistic elements, you don't really need to pay too much close attention, but you do need to set what these things are. So that's where you look over onto the right-hand bar here, and like I said, there's a lot of options. Some of them are self-explanatory, like is bed, makes it a bed. Flooring can be complicated. For my tiles, they are all just attached to the floor, which I would mark here. So that just means that's where its attachment is. Your attachments can be different based on whatever you're using. Again, look at the base game properties and then use what you have there. It's always going to be a little bit of trial and error, but that's okay. It's all part of the learning process. Once you have all of your tiles defined, that's where you're just going to save it. And then we can close this. In your pack maker, you'll see that you have your tile definition. So you've created all 3 components you need to get started and put it into a mod. So I'm going to open up another folder here. So you need to find where the workshop is. To get all of your tile folders into a mod, into the workshop, you got to know where that folder is. So you're going to go to your C or D or whatever drive you have, your main drive. You're going to go to user. You're going to go to your own personal user. You're going to open up the Zomboid folder and workshop. So in here, obviously, there's a lot of my mods in here, but you will also find mod template. This is really, really useful. This outlines what you need to have. What I always do is I create a copy of it. So I rename that, whatever, farming. And in there, it will have the setup of everything you need. You'll need a workshop. Leave the ID blank because that will be filled in once you upload the mod to the workshop. You'll need a title, a general description. Tags of visibility you can leave as is or delete because that is stuff you can again fill in when you are uploading it to the workshop. The preview, this is the generic preview image. The preview has to be a certain size. So you can come to properties here and see that it is 256 by 256 pixels. It has to be that. A lot of times what I just like to do is I'll open that with my art program and just draw over it or copy paste something I've made with Canva over it. So I know it's the same size. Contents. In there you'll have the mods folder. It has to stay mods. And then this is where you're going to have the folder for your mod. So just going to rename this, or not rename it. I'm going to rename this farming. And in here, this is your mod layout. You'll have a similar mod ID. This is where you're going to have your name, farming, your ID, which is your custom little ID, which other people will reference. So farming mod test. Description and poster, this is just referring to the picture that's there. And description, you can make it whatever you want. Farming test. Save that. Poster is similar in that it's just kind of a generic picture. This one's properties are different. It's actually bigger. It's 512 by 512. So, Project Zomboid is picky that you have to have these exact measurements in pixels, otherwise it won't accept it. So again, just edit here. Media is where you'll find your folders. So this one, since there is no maps, we don't need a map. I'm just going to go ahead and delete or copy it. You will need a folder called, texture packs. Now I'm going to switch over to a tile pack I've already made, just so we can make sure that everything's in place. Workshop, everything's good. Contents, mods, name of your mod folder. Media, this is where you're going to put the tile definition. Texture pack is where you're going to put your pack files. Yeah. And what's really super important is in the mod ID, you have to have two things. You have to have pack equals whatever your pack, the name of your pack file is. Okay. And then you had to have tile def, which is the name of whatever your tile definition is, and then a string of numbers. I believe the minimum you can have 3 digits, I think maximum up to 8 digits. Just whatever random numbers. That's part of Project Zomboid's funky little coding thing. People generally have a set of numbers that they use for everything. Mine, I tend to do 1122 or 2211. This was before I decided to pick a number. But yeah, every tile definition needs their own string of numbers. Sometimes if numbers are the same, it will cause mod conflict when you're trying to load it in, say, a multiplayer server. So that's something to consider. But you have to have the pack and the tile definitions. So that is everything you need for the mod folder to be ready. The last thing you would do would be to open up Project Zomboid. From here, you'll go to Workshop, Creator Update Items, and then you're going to select your file. So I'm just going to do this one because I'll just delete it afterwards. So you'll select it, click Next. Here, you can change the name. You can change the description. You have to have some kind of description or it won't upload. Here's where you can change the tags so you didn't have to add tags. And then this is where you can change the visibility. Public, everybody can find it. Friends only is only your friends can find it. Hidden, nobody can find it and it won't download off of Steam properly. And then unlisted is that it can be downloaded off of Steam properly, but it cannot be searched for on the Steam Workshop. A lot of my things tend to go there because I use my stuff for servers. And then you'll click next. This is really important. If it is a new item, you have to click the new one. It will make a workshop ID, so it will give it a string of numbers. If it's existing item and you just want to update it, you do it here. Since it's a new object, I would click here. One last double check here where you can go and edit. Go back and edit. Edit change notes. If you're making a change, you can change it there. And the last step is to upload on Steam Workshop. Let's see here, it created the new ID. This is no way to go back, so it is a one-way. Once you have uploaded it, it's uploaded until you take it down. You can't stop this process of it going on. And that's it. That's everything you need to do in order to get tiles into Project Zomboid. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you guys stay awesome.